Hi guys, so thank you for tuning into my channel, and if you're watching for the first time, my name's Marianne Hanson. I'm a counsellor and a coach. I work with people that struggle with stress, anxiety, depression and relationship issues, as well as low self-esteem. But one area of expertise that I do have a lot of knowledge in and experience is domestic violence, and that is because I used to volunteer as a counsellor at Birmingham and Solihull Women's Aid, who work with women who are experiencing or have experienced domestic violence. Now, one area that doesn't get a lot of attention is male domestic violence, and that is what I want to talk about today. Now, I've had opportunities to work with perpetrators, male perpetrators towards women. I've never worked with a male victim of domestic violence, and it's not very common that there are lots of resources out there. And also I'm going to give you some reasons now why it's an issue that I wanted to talk about on my channel. This is the first time I've made a video about male domestic violence, and the reason I decided to talk about it is because I watched a program, actually it was a YouTube video, where a man had been subjected to horrendous abuse by his partner, and it actually led to his death. And the way that he died was that he was just continuously beaten and beaten, and then he was eventually stabbed to death by his partner. Now, as I was watching this video, parts of me were saying, this is so blatant, and this physical abuse is so, horrific. What makes him stay? And I've said that probably with women as well, but it was just the fact that he was much bigger physically. He was paying the bills, so he had his own income. He was a good-looking man, so he had opportunities to meet someone else, but for whatever reason he stayed, and that's what I want to talk about today. One, there isn't enough resources for men. So in the same way that there are lots of refuges out there, a lot of them exclude men for obvious reasons, because they're for women or women and children. So that could be one reason why men find it difficult to seek help, because there is no help, or they don't know what resources are available. They can't find any, so a lot of times they will just say, well, I'm going to stay because there's nothing out there for me anyway. Number two, and this is a big one, is society's perception that men are weak if they are in an abusive relationship. A lot of men will not talk about it with their friends because of fear of judgment. Society perceives men as being strong, as being the protectors, and how can you allow a woman to hit you? What's wrong with you? Man up, and all these types of things. And it must be really difficult. I've never thought about it in this way, until recently. It must be difficult for a man, no matter what his size is, or no matter, his physical shape or his emotional strength, to be in a relationship where he's being abused by a woman who is viewed as the weaker sex. But and for society to just see it as being, well, he must have done something wrong. There's lots of posts on Facebook where people will justify abuse by women towards men, or they'll ignore it, or they won't take it as seriously, because it's always been known in society that men are the perpetrators. And although men are the perpetrators in majority of domestic violence, there are lots of strong-minded, physically strong, but also intimidating women who are specifically using the same patterns of manipulation, of selecting vulnerable men that they can abuse. So it's the same methods that they're using that the men are using. So another reason that men don't really tell anyone or get help when they're in domestic violence relationships is for fear of judgment. They do not want to be judged, and in most situations men will not fight back, because, and what I mean by fighting back, I'm not saying it justifies getting into a physical fight with anyone. You should always try to walk away. However, if you are being attacked and your only option is to defend yourself, even in those cases, I've seen stories where men have just not hit back. They're being hit with weapons, frying pans, heels, high heels, things being thrown at them, but they will not fight back because of not just fear of judgment, you've hit this woman, fear of the woman turning it around and saying, I'm going to tell the police that you had hit me first. But also, just within them, there are some men that will just not hit a woman back, even if it's in self-defense. And the shameful or the pity about that is that they have every right to defend themselves. Anyone does, man or woman. If someone is physically attacking you, depends on what level of force you want to use or restraint. legally you have every right to defend yourself. And I think that's the message I sort of want to say to people, really, is that don't feel that because of the messages that are in your head about you know, I'm not saying go out and hit a woman, but what I'm saying is if a woman is abusing you and you are a male, you should never feel that you can't defend yourself, because you can. And the final reason, what I would say, is why men do not get the help they need for domestic violence is because the perception is that the woman is going to change, so they always make excuses for the woman. And same as this happens with men as well, who are perpetrators. So if you're in a domestic violence situation and you're the male, so you're the victim, a lot of times you will make excuses for the woman. So you might say it's because you know, she's having a rough time, it's because something I did. And women will normally escalate the violence by using things like, as I've said, high heels, by using weapons. In the cases I've seen, and this is not just online, but the people I've worked with, in domestic violence where the man is the victim, a woman will normally go from, it might start off with, say, physical, and then out of nowhere it will just be a knife being plunged into a man. It will just be maybe a high heel shoe. We've had cases, I've heard of cases where women have used shoes as a weapon to kill someone or whatever. And I'm not saying that doesn't happen with men, because it does. Men might just get a gun and shoot someone, or they might just escalate and strangle. But the difference there is that a woman will normally, they'll be, as it escalates, they probably are talking to their friends, they probably a lot of times are seeking help from the resources that are out there. A man won't necessarily do that. He will make excuses and say, well, she's having a bad day, or I'll stick in there, things are going to get better. So all I would say is, if you are a man, you do not deserve to be abused in any way, physically, verbally. All the messages that are going around in your head saying that society expects you to be a certain type of man, society expects you not to hit back, no one will help you, people will judge you, people will laugh at you. Forget all about that and think about what you deserve. Man or woman, you do not deserve to be physically or verbally abused. So seek help. There are agencies out there, there are counsellors out there that are really you know, understand your position. I'm one of those counsellors. I would work with anyone that needs my help. Find a resource, find those counsellors and seek help, because, you know, we can't accept in our society domestic violence as the norm or as acceptable. So I hope you found this video useful. If you have, please feel free to comment, to like, to share, and to subscribe to my channel if you want more videos like this. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you all again soon. Take care. Bye.